In the quiet suburbs of Oak Ridge Estates, Florida, where manicured lawns and white picket fences hid simmering tensions, Marcus Thompson thought he'd finally found peace. A 42-year-old software engineer and single dad to a bright-eyed 10-year-old daughter, Marcus had worked his way up from humble beginnings in Atlanta. His skin was the color of rich mahogany, a fact that never escaped notice in this predominantly white neighborhood governed by a strict homeowners association, HOA. Marcus's home was his fortress, a cozy two-story colonial with solar panels he'd installed himself, a driveway wide enough for his Tesla and his daughter's bike. After long days debugging code and shuttling little Aaliyah to soccer practice, he craved the simple joy of pulling in without hassle. But peace? That shattered when Karen Whitaker decided his driveway was her personal battleground. It began innocently enough, or so it seemed. One sunny afternoon, Marcus returned from a grocery run to find Karen S.'s oversized white SUV wedged across his driveway entrance, blocking him completely. Karen, the self-appointed HOA president, was infamous for her nitpicky emails about unsightly trash bins and non-compliant holiday lights. At 55, with her bleach-blonde bob and perpetual scowl, she ruled the cul-de-sac like a queen, her husband a silent shadow in the background. Marcus honked lightly, assuming it was a mix-up. Karen emerged from her house next door, clipboard in hand, inspecting her rose bushes. She glanced over, her eyes narrowing behind oversized sunglasses. "Oh, Marcus, is that you?" she called, her voice laced with faux sweetness. "I'm just measuring for the new community guidelines on driveway setbacks. Won't be but a minute." Marcus rolled down his window, keeping his tone even. "No problem, but could you move? I've got ice cream melting back here." She waved dismissively. "It's not like you're in a rush. Besides, the HOA rules say we share common areas for inspections." She turned back to her bushes, as if that settled it. Share common areas? His driveway wasn't common anything. Marcus parked on the street that time, unloaded his groceries, and let it slide. He wasn't one to rock the boat, not when he'd already dealt with sideways glances from neighbors whispering about property values when he moved in 2 years ago. But Karen didn't stop. The next week, her SUV appeared again, this time parked fully in his spot while she hosted a neighborhood watch meeting. Marcus came home late from work, exhausted, only to circle the block twice before squeezing into a spot 3 houses down. He knocked on her door that evening. Karen answered, a glass of Chardonnay in hand, her friend's laughter echoing from the living room. "Karen, your car's in my driveway," Marcus said calmly, hands in his pockets to hide his frustration. She blinked, feigning surprise. "Oh, heavens! We had so many attendees. Parking was a nightmare. You understand, right? It's for the community's safety." "It's my driveway," Marcus replied, his voice steady but firm. "Not community parking. Please move it." Karen's smile tightened. "Well, if you insist. But you know, Marcus, some of us have been here longer. We're used to a certain courtesy." Her eyes flicked over him, the implication hanging like smoke. She moved the car, but the subtext lingered. Marcus felt it. The subtle dig, the way she emphasized us like he was an outsider. He brushed it off, focusing on Aaliyah's bedtime stories instead. Weeks turned into months, and Karen's encroachments escalated. She'd park there for quick errands, leaving notes on his windshield about his overgrown hedges that violated HOA bylaws. One rainy night, Marcus rushed home after Aaliyah's school called about a fever, only to find Karen's SUV blocking him again. He had to carry his sobbing daughter through the downpour from the street. That was the breaking point. The next morning, Marcus emailed the HOA board, Karen included, politely requesting they address the issue. Her response? A curt reply. "Driveways are visible from the street and must comply with aesthetic standards. Perhaps focus on that instead of petty complaints." Petty? Marcus's blood boiled. He confronted her in person that afternoon, camera rolling on his phone just in case. "Karen, this has to stop," he said, standing on his own porch for emphasis. "You're blocking my access repeatedly. It's trespassing." She crossed her arms, lips pursing. "Trespassing? Don't be dramatic, Marcus. I'm the HOA president. I know the rules better than anyone. Your driveway edges too close to the sidewalk. It's practically public. And frankly, with all the changes in the neighborhood, we need to maintain order." Changes. There it was, the racism bubbling under her entitlement. Marcus's jaw clenched. "This isn't about rules. It's my property. Move your car or I'll have it towed." Karen laughed, a sharp, incredulous bark. "Tow it? Good luck with that. The towing company knows me. I approve their contracts for the community." She slammed her door, leaving her SUV right where it was. Marcus didn't bluff. He called the local towing service, explaining the situation. To his surprise, they arrived within the hour, a burly driver named Joe, who eyed Karen's SUV and whistled. "HOA lady? This'll be fun." As the tow truck hooked up, Karen burst out of her house, phone in hand, screeching, "What do you think you're doing? This is my car. I'll have you arrested." Joe shrugged. "Ma'am, it's on private property without permission. Owner's call." Neighbors peeked from windows, some stepping onto porches. Whispers spread like wildfire. Karen dialed frantically, first the police, then her husband, then the HOA lawyer. But the tow truck didn't wait. With a hydraulic whine, her pristine SUV lifted off the ground and rolled away. That was just the first tow. Karen retaliated hard. The next day, Marcus received a certified letter, a $500 fine for unauthorized vehicle removal, and a demand to repaint his garage door to match community standards. She even petitioned the board to audit his solar panels, claiming they reflected light disruptively. But Marcus was done playing nice. He documented everything: photos, videos, emails. When her SUV blocked him again 2 days later, he called the tow truck twice in 1 week. Each time, Karen's hysterics drew a bigger crowd. By the third tow, half the neighborhood watched from lawns, smartphones out, filming her meltdown. "You think you can just move in here and change everything?" she yelled at Marcus as the truck hauled her car away again. "This is my neighborhood." The videos went viral. Posted anonymously on Nextdoor and Reddit's HOA hell, they exploded. HOA Karen blocks black neighbor's driveway, gets towed 3 times. Headlines screamed across local news, entitled HOA President's Parking War Backfires Spectacularly. The backlash was swift. The HOA board, flooded with complaints, held an emergency meeting. Turns out, Karen had been bending rules for years, waiving fines for her friends, harassing newcomers. Marcus presented his evidence: timestamps, witness statements, even a surveyor's report proving his driveway was fully his. The board voted unanimously. Karen was ousted as president. Fines piled up, $1,000 for repeated trespassing, plus towing fees she now owed. Her husband, embarrassed, filed for divorce papers, leaked in the chaos. The neighborhood shunned her. Invitations to barbecues dried up. As for Marcus, he parked in peace, Aaliyah waving from the window. One evening, as Karen slunk to her garage, now carless after impound fees, he caught her eye. "Lesson learned," he called lightly. She didn't answer, but the defeat in her posture said it all. In Oak Ridge Estates, the queen had fallen, and everyone had front-row seats to her hard-learned humility.